Hello, my name is Joy Woodbridge, and I am the author of Joy Overcame Sorrow. I'd like to tell you a little bit about why I wrote this book. Originally, I wanted to do a TEDx speech about how ballroom dancing helped me move through my grief, and it became healthier for me. I became healthier. And then I also started to form some healthy, good social connections. So I went to a meeting about being a TEDx, speech presenter or whatever. Gave them a little bit of my background, my history. Back in 2004, I lost my wonderful husband, my beloved husband, David Woodbridge, to colon cancer. We found out the day before he died that he had that diagnosis. So it came very quickly. It is a silent killer. So if you have any kind of colon cancer in your family, please do pre-screening a lot earlier. Anyway, back to the book. When I was talking to these people, trying to say I want to do this speech about how ballroom dancing helped me move through grief, they said, no, we think you should write a children's book. At first I was a little bit annoyed because I knew what I wanted to do, and I wasn't getting the kind of response that I expected. But I'm a person that if you challenge me, I will say, okay, I'm going to go for the challenge. Now, I've written things, but I have not written fiction. So writing a chapter book was interesting. Writing fiction was interesting. Writing from a 10-year-old girl point of view was interesting. So this story is about a 10-year-old little girl named Joy who unexpectedly loses her dad in a car accident. So Joy is one of these adventurous kind of characters that, we all love. They're so brave and willing to try new things or whatever. But this was devastating for Joy. And Joy had to find a way to cope, to go through the grief process, to understand that her world, as she had known it, had changed forever. There would be lots of never-wills in her life with her dad. But as she began to reflect it and write in her journals throughout the year, and this was a gift from one of her pretty insightful cousins, gave her a gift of a journal, she began to reflect and realize that she really did have a wonderful dad. And even though it was hard, she missed him. She learned through reflection and getting through all the year of first Thanksgiving, first Christmas, first birthday, first mom's birthday, all of these first, and then the first anniversary of the death. But by reflecting and writing in her journal about her feelings and writing from the perspective of a 10-year-old girl, I think a lot of children could benefit from this book. I realize the children are probably not going to be the ones who buy the book. And I think the helpers, the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, that are trying to pick up the slack and trying to help not only go through their own grief, but help the child as they go through their grief. I think of first responders, medical people. I think of, the play therapist and the grief counselors. I think it could be a book that could be a book study for a grief group. I think it could be a book for a person who is now an adult but lost their parent or a loved one as a child. And maybe there might be some helpful tips to get through it. I do believe from my own experience as a widow that I got to a point where I had to either stay stuck in my grief, stay buried in my sorrow, or I could choose to be joyful. Because as a Christian believer, I do not believe that you lose your loved one forever. I believe I will see my beloved husband in the future when with him in heaven. I believe every child who has lost a loved one will see that loved one again. And I really hope that you'll consider purchasing my book, Joy Overcame Sorrow. Right now, we finished some of the developmental editing, so hopefully in a few months we'll have a book launch at some point. But I just kind of wanted to share where the book idea came from. Thank you very much.